Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 17th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast with your host, me, Brian Cullen. So I apologize for the long layoff between this one and my previous podcast, but it's just a little more difficult to get a hold of some of these challenges as the season has winded down. But fear not, I am back, and I actually have a very special treat for you today. I had the opportunity to speak with the legendary host of the challenges, Mr. TJ Lavin. We talked about his time on the show, how he got involved in it, his feelings as the show has evolved over the years, and even some of his favorite moments. So we'll get to all that in just a minute. But first, let me remind you to follow me on Twitter at BusDriversAreOut. Go to BusDriversAreOut.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, so that'll do it for me. So here is TJ. All right, so let me just start with this. So you've been hosting the show now almost going on a decade, if you can even believe that. So you've seen basically everything the show does and everything. So what would be your favorite season that you've done?
Queenstown, New Zealand, actually, was probably my favorite because the place was just so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to ride BMX there and stuff, too.
Yeah, was there any, type of format that you prefer going in? You're like, all right, this should be a good one?
No, you know what? Every time I think that it's going to be a really, really good one, that it becomes a little bit more chilled out, and then every time I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this one. And the show's awesome.
Okay. So if you can, looking forward now, if you can change one thing about the show, anything, the way it casts, the way the challenges are done, what would you change?
You know what? I probably would try and film it faster, not take so long to film it, the 6 or 7 weeks that we're gone, it's a long time. So I'd like to change it a little, to film it a little bit quicker, and then also I'd like to do one in Vegas. That'd be awesome.
that would definitely be very interesting to see. Yeah, you're always on exotic locations. You never really do any of them really in the U.S., so it would be kind of cool to kind of get back into that frame of mind rather than going to all these far-off places. Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
So it's kind of weird. Outside of, other reality competition shows like Survivor, Apprentice, there's usually some type of open forum where the host would dive into all the drama from the week or whatever, but that doesn't really happen on the challenge. So how much of the drama are you aware of that happens in the house?
You know what, man? I don't even watch the show because I'm embarrassed about it. So I don't even, I have no idea a lot about a majority of it, but once in a while I'll hear something through the grapevine, and there's a thing called the night before or whatever, and I read those sometimes. So, it tells you the story of what's going on and everything else. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So you have no interest to know about who's doing what, what's going on. You're just there for the competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So do you have any input on what goes on into a season, the theme, or who's going to be casted, or is that all out of your control?
No, but who's going to be casted is out of my control. But the challenge is once we go to a challenge, I have a little bit to do with that sometimes. I'll go and check it out, and if it's something that's a little bit too easy or a little bit too hard, then I'll put my input and give my 2 cents for sure.
Mm-hmm. So you get to test out some of the challenges on your own before the contestants do?
No, I don't get to test too much anymore. Once in a blue moon I'll get to do it, but very rarely. But it's something it's the insurance stuff, they won't really let me do it anymore, so that kind of sucks. But it's still easy to see, you can see all the other crew workers get up there and give it a shot and see what they can do, and then I know what the crew members can do. I kind of know what each guy's good at, you know what I mean? And so when they go and do it and then they have a problem with, something, then I'm like, okay, that might be a little hard for this group of kids or whatever. So sometimes we change it a little bit, but not too much.
Okay. Over the years, it seems that some of the challenges, especially kind of towards the end of the finals, have gotten more and more intense. So have you ever thought to yourself, when you kind of see what these people are going to do, we don't pay these people enough to go jump into freezing ice water in Iceland or something like that. Is there anything that jumps out to you that, wow, we actually made these people do this?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example is the Iceland. When we were in Iceland and they had to jump through ice water, I was like, dude, that's pretty gnarly. Like, that's a pretty heavy, that's a heavy ask right there. But at the end of the day, there's a line 100 miles long of kids that are dying to get on this show. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So just appreciate it, man, because you're seeing a beautiful country, you're seeing a beautiful scenery, you're having fun, you're experiencing life. You know what I mean? So if you take it for what it is, then there's no reason in the world for you not to do it. You know what I mean? So just get out there, compete, do your best, and have fun.
Exactly. And that kind of leads to, I guess I would add to the fact that why you have such a strong disdain for anyone who even thinks or even acts on quitting the show. Like, even this season, we saw Trishelle quit and just use as an ambassador on the show, which I love. So what is it that kind of just irritates you that much when people do quit?
It's exactly what we just talked about, man. It's like when somebody quits, it's like there's only about 1 million people that would take your place right now for free.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's some people that would pay to get on the show, and you're sitting here griping about something that's ridiculous or as trivial as maybe the food is a little bit cold or maybe the sleeping arrangements are a little bit hot or whatever. It's all part of an equation. You know what I mean? It's not an accident that you guys are all crunched up together and that it's really hot here in Thailand, kind of. You know what I mean? So it's not an accident. It's like we do that on purpose, just because there's a formula to it, and that definitely gets on your nerves, and then you create great television. So just dummy up and be cool.
Absolutely. So maybe I've just been noticing this more on this season than others, but it seems like there's been an excessive use of green screens and voiceovers at the point of the challenges when you're explaining the rules.
There is no green screen. There is no green screen. There's nothing. I've never been on a green screen in my life. They have a thing called a bounce board. Mm-hmm. So the bounce board, it lights you up and makes you very, very like crisp and clear. Right. So the bounce board is like bouncing the sun or the light off and into your face because I wear hats all the time. So that's what it is. It's not green screen at all. It's like high definition, so it's very crisp. But that's about it, man. It's crazy because I never got so many comments in my life about green screen. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what it looks like, but I know it's not green screen because I was never in front of a green screen ever. Maybe on the opener or something. But
what about through, did you guys have to do voiceovers to add stuff in? Because it seems like when you explain the rules, sometimes they'll jump and your voice will like change.
Yes. The voiceovers, I do all the voiceovers at my house in my studio at home. So that's why it's like you hear ambient noise, and then sometimes it's super crisp and clear. That's from my voiceovers for sure.
Okay. So who would you rank over all the seasons you've done at any point? Who would you rank as the best male and female competitor that you've ever seen on the show?
CT and Emily.
CT and Emily?
Yep.
It's kind of interesting considering that neither of them have actually ever won. So at least not yet, but kind of interesting you picked those two.
Yeah, CT and Emily, like those two are just such beasts. They seem like they're always dominating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see this season. We'll see what happens, but you'll see. It's pretty crazy. But I feel like those two are really good.
Who would you pick who would rank just beneath them?
You know who I like a lot is Leroy.
Yeah, he's good. It's a shame. He always kind of gets like a kind of a bad partner or whatever in these challenges. Kind of takes him down a little bit. But yeah, he's a great competitor.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
You know who else is a very, very good rider or competitor is Johnny Bananas. That guy surprises me almost every time. Mm-hmm. And until that ramp challenge that we had, the ramp challenge, I was like blown away that he wasn't like up there even better. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think Johnny Bananas is one of my favorites. Like when it comes to competitors, for sure, he's like one of the best.
Yeah, the thing about that challenge though is it must have been like extremely hot over there, right? So that could have added to the factor.
I wish I could tell you what happened on that challenge because that was I'm sure he was embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously you didn't see the episode, but that kind of led to a lot of stuff in the house with them going back and forth. But yeah, that.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. CT and Wells were having a little fun with him poking that. He was collapsing and Bananas going back and forth. One West collapsed during the final, and Kenny carried him up the mountain. So
that's another guy, Kenny.
Yeah.
Kenny Santucci's real good. Yeah, Kenny's real good.
Okay.
Surprisingly, Kenny's, he's one of the best.
Yeah, he hasn't been on in a little while. Hopefully, we'll see him again. But I guess that's out of your control, obviously.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's kind of become like a cult following with the fans of the show is your use of "You killed it," the phrase. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You killed it comes from BMX.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like in BMX, we always say that, and if somebody goes down and does an amazing run, it's you killed that run. You killed it. There's no doubt about it. It's been in my blood saying that all the time from a kid. So that's where that comes from.
So at what point did you realize that fans were just loving this phrase? This has become one of, I guess, your trademark for the show is that phrase. At what point did that kind of realize click in for you?
I don't know, man. Probably after the third or fourth season, people started really, worrying about it. I was like, what the heck? That's so weird.
I know you've spoken to Bill Simmons and Dave Jacoby of the past during interviews, and they've mentioned to you that they do a reality fantasy show or whatever, and they get points for every time you say that phrase. So in the back of your head, when you say it, do you think about them bringing that up to you and the fact that this is affecting?
Now, I would be lying if I said I didn't think about it, but I am 100%. I'm thinking about those dudes. Those guys are so cool, and I had such a good time with them that I every time I say, you know what, I'm gonna give them some points this time, and I think about those dudes. It's so unnatural, but I do totally think about those guys, man. It's so funny.
That's great. Well, these days, for someone who does a really great job, you should just whip out 3 or 4 "you killed it" right in a row and just say "you killed it, you killed it, you killed it," and then Jacoby would go absolutely berserk.
That would be funny, man. You know what? I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna see if I can apply it next season.
Absolutely. Give me a shout on the show, and I'm sure it'll get cut from the edit, but I'll know it's there.
I was like, dude, you killed it, you killed it, you killed it. 100%.
Absolutely, that would be great. So I'm just kind of curious, how did you kind of get started in the challenge? How did you get started hosting the show?
Just being a pro bike rider, man. Just being a pro bike rider, and then a friend of mine named Vinny Potestivo worked his way up into a position of power at MTV. And he asked me if I would host the show, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And then I did, and then it came out great, and that was it.
So we're all thrilled. So you're going to be sticking around these seasons as long as it's possibly going? You're going to keep coming back?
I would like to, man. I really love the show, and I really love working with everybody and everything else. So, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But I'd like to, man. We'll see.
Would you ever do it yourself? The actual show?
No. No, I'm too old for that.
What if this was 5 or 6 years ago?
No. If I was in my 20s, early 20s, like 21, maybe 21 in 6 months, then maybe I'd give it a shot. But it would be tough, man, because I was already riding bikes then too. So if I was just not riding bikes, I was just a dude out in the world and trying to make it happen and seeing what's going on, then yeah, I'd give it a go for sure.
Okay. All right. Last thing before you go, I know we brought it up earlier, but can I get a Brian, you killed it?
Brian, this interview was amazing. You absolutely killed it. Congratulations. You went off. Go ahead and rejoin the group. You're still in the game.
That is fantastic. All right. Awesome. So I know, tell me about your clothing line, Head Rush, and also Forgiven. Talk to me a little bit about those.
All right. Head Rush is, it's actually not my clothing line, but I am representing them a lot, and I'm friends with them, and I just wear their stuff, and the Horror Project, is a friend of mine, and I wear his stuff too, and Yums. I love the Yums dudes and whoever. I try to get everybody involved as much as possible because they're all just friends of mine, the BMX brands and things like that. And then and they're also a fight brand too, so you can check them out at headrushbrand.com. And then Forgiven is my alcohol metabolizer, and I do own that. And it's funny because I don't even drink, but the guy that came up with the formula for it is a very smart guy, a lot smarter than me. And he said, hey, this stuff really works. You got to check it out. And so I tested it on some friends of mine, and sure enough, they came back and were like, dude, this is amazing. So I tried it on some more friends, and then sure enough, we got the rights to it, and we bought the patents and everything, and got everything dialed, and that was about 4 years ago. So now we're at the market, and we're going good, man. Everything's going great. So I really appreciate it. You could check it out at takeforgiven.com.
Awesome. I hope you tested it out on the challenges because you got a nice little market right there. I'm sure they'd make great use of it.
I know.
All right, so I really appreciate you coming. Where can people find you on Twitter and Instagram and all that?
At TJ Lavin. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at TJ Lavin. It's really creative. It took me years to think about what I wanted to do.
You killed it with that name.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, bro.
All right, I really appreciate talking to you. It's been a blast.
Hey, man. No worries, Brian. Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
You too, man. Bye.
All right, see you, mate.
There it is. The 17th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast is in the books. Hope you all enjoyed that chat with TJ. I know I certainly did. That was a really big thrill for me. He's a great guy. It was really a thrill to be able to talk to him. So before I wrap things up today, let me once again remind you to follow me on Twitter at BusDriversAreOut. Go to my blog, busdriversareout.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that way whenever I post these interviews, they'll just be sent directly to you. All right, that will do it for me. So until next time, have a good one.